Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're going to be nicer to retail staff after watching this video. My cabinet doors have your company name written all over them. This happened when I worked at a well-known furniture store a few years ago. I see a livid customer coming up to the returns counter. He's got a bunch of cabinet doors with him and was greeted by my colleague. "Hi, how can I help you today?" Customer says, "I ordered white high gloss doors and got these," and points at the pile of doors. "First of all, they're blue, and I could live with that if I got a discount, but it frigging says company name all over them. I want a refund, and I want it now." The colleague was stunned by the situation, and he starts peeling back the protective blue plastic from the white high gloss doors. Customer now realizes his mistake. His jaw drops, and he shuts up, looks down and quietly leaves with his cabinet doors. As he walked out of the store, my colleagues and the rest of us who saw this go down all broke out in laughter. Even though I worked in retail for nearly a decade and met my fair share of stupid customers, this incident always makes me smile when I come to think of it. That guy must have felt like such an idiot, but at least he knew when to quit, unlike a typical Karen. I bought a houseplant out of spite twice. Full disclosure, I have my fair share of plants, and I don't need any more. A fact reaffirmed when watering the whole household takes the better part of the afternoon. But the only thing that motivates me more than a passion for horticulture is pure, unadulterated spite. First case. Guy calls us asking about houseplants. I confirm, that's my area, what can I do for you? And he wants to know the price for a very specific plant. Sansevieria cylindrica. Starfish, if you're wondering. Which I tell him, and immediately get a long rebuttal of, "No it's not, it's only a fifth of that price, and you have it in a size that we don't have it in." Despite assuring him that no, we have never had one that low, and I would gladly check on getting a different size, he keeps cutting me off before I give up. I offer to hold the last one we have for him, through the afternoon, to see if he likes it. He tells me, "Don't bother. You don't know what plant you're talking about. I'm coming down there later. I'll find it and get this sorted out." Click. Well, okay then. I flag my coworker, say I'm going on a break, and oh yeah, I'm buying that plant. Last I heard, he begrudgingly accepted the 2-week waiting period until we could get more in, at a larger size, and a higher markup. Second case happened today. We're very short-staffed and doing our darndest to keep folks happy and get them their lawn and garden questions answered. In the middle of juggling the phones and the lines, several people deep, a lady walks up with a lovely, variegated African violet I had my eyes on prior, and says, "I need to ask you a favour." I think, oh, this is about how to take care of this little beaut or what houseplants would work in our house, etc. Nope. She whips out several Ziploc bags of change and says, "I went through my husband's jackets and found these. Can you count it out for me and tell me how much I have?" I politely apologise and say I don't have the time, and she insists, and once again I tell her I cannot do it at this time, but if she would like, I'd be happy to set aside the plant while she figures out her change. She gives me a minute-long silent glare before saying, "You know what? I don't even want any of this." This was literally the one plant, and I tell her, a bit too cheerfully, "No problem, I'll be glad to put that back on the shelf." But I didn't. I finished up the line and thought, this plant deserves a better home, just in case she comes back, and I bought it on my next break. Variegated violets aren't exactly rare, but they come across our shelves infrequently enough that I was content. And now the boyfriend is asking, was it all worth it? And to that I say, yes. Yes it was. I probably butchered the names of those plants and I apologise, but I'm not too familiar with them since 1. I can't seem to keep a plant alive, and 2. There's a limited range of plants and flowers you're allowed to have if you have cats, so sorry. So how much is it with your employee discount? Hello everyone. So this just happened and I was pretty impressed with how bold this kid was. I'm the store manager of an auto parts store, and a kid walks up asking if we sell Optima batteries. These batteries are top of the line batteries that start at around $230. I told him I do sell them, go to where they are and show him the different types of Optima batteries we carry. He asks a couple questions about them, then chooses one, and we go to set up the warranty and ring him up. Then he asks if we get discounts. I told him yes, as an employee we get an employee discount. He then asks if he can use my employee discount. I told him no, an employee discount is for employees only. He then goes and says he won't say anything and to give him a hookup. So I told him, unfortunately I can't do that, and I give him the total price. I don't think he's even looked at my name badge, because he asks if he can talk to the manager about getting a discount. I tell him I'm the store manager, pointing at my shiny name badge. He kind of gets this annoyed look, and he then pays for the battery and tells me he's going to give me a bad review because he wasn't satisfied with my customer service. I then told him, unfortunately we can't satisfy everyone, and to have a nice day. I mean, nice trying asking for a discount, but don't get mad when you get denied, dude. Imagine being the type of person that leaves a bad review for a company because the manager wouldn't use their employee discount for you. Customer doesn't know how to slice bread, demands refund. I work in a small grocery store and we stock fresh bread from a local bakery, which is sold unsliced. It's that fancy ass sourdough stuff that everyone loves, and it's super popular to the point where we sell out almost every day and have people calling up to keep loaves aside for them. But anyway, one evening this lady comes up to the till and presents me with one of the big sourdoughs and starts to tell me this randomly detailed story about how she bought this bread for her son so he could make sandwiches to take on his flight to Milan. However, according to her, this wasn't possible because the bread wouldn't slice and just crumbled apart when they tried to cut it. As her son was already away on his flight, sadly without his sourdough sandwiches, she now had returned for a full refund. I already knew she was going to be a pain, but just to prove a point, I took the bread from her and gave it to one of the deli guys and asked him to slice it. Lo and behold, it sliced perfectly with minimal effort, as I expected. I brought it back to show her the slice and explained that there was clearly nothing wrong with it, which she somehow still didn't believe even though it was right in front of her face. Cue my coworker chiming in saying maybe her knife wasn't sharp enough. But no, she couldn't even give that as an excuse. She just kept saying it was different that morning. I offered to slice it all up for her to take home, but apparently it was too late, because of course the bread was specifically for those flight sandwiches and couldn't be used for anything else. Honestly, it was more funny than anything, but I was kind of annoyed because my coworker decided to give her a refund anyway because she was so argumentative. I really wish people would stop giving refunds just because people make a scene. Anyway, this was probably the dumbest return I've ever had to deal with, and it still makes me chuckle to this day. Don't buy a loaf of bread if you don't know how to slice it. Customer wants an item returned without actually returning the item. Today at work, I had the absolute pleasure of arguing with an old man about why I couldn't return his money for a piece of furniture he hadn't actually brought back in. Keep in mind, this was a decent sized piece of furniture that cost a lot of money. I told him that I couldn't give him his money back until he brought the item in. Then the conversation went as follows. Well, why can't you return it? I have the receipt. I can't do the return without the item physically here. It's just store policy. Him raising his voice. What do you mean store policy? Every other store does it for me. Amazon does it. Why can't you? I'm sorry, but we just can't. For all we know, a customer could come in returning an item, then never bring it back in. We just don't know, so we need to have the item. So you're not going to return it? Amazon would return it. This is ridiculous. How come they will but you won't? He proceeded to rant for a full minute about how ridiculous it was that we couldn't give him hundreds of dollars back before we got the item. This is about the moment my patience ran out. I can't do the return without the furniture actually here. I would be fired if I did. This is a company, not Amazon, so I'm going to follow our policy, not Amazon's. We'll happily return it for you once you bring the item back in. I promptly walked away, and when I came back a few minutes later, he was still standing there in dumbfounded silence. How could that be so hard to understand? Wouldn't everyone come in with their receipts for expensive items and just never actually return them if that's the way that things were done? Okay, so that's all for r/Tales from Retail. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord and Patreon links are in the description. And also, as it's Sunday, I want to say a massive thank you to my wonderful patrons. BackwardsDDog, Tyler Miller, Jen Burton, Jen Spanning, Bo Walker, Princess Kate, Skyler A, Elizabeth Filmore, Stephen Arnowitt, Shagar, Koltin, James Scanlan, Darkimedes, David Temple, Devil Ducky, and a lovely warm welcome to our 2 new patrons, Fennec and Lawrence Eytcheson. Thank you all so much for your support. Mwah. That's for you, but keep it between us, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye!